We will start and discuss today about the role of wildlife in emergence of zoonosis. So, as we know that zoonosis, if you see the introduction of zoonosis, what is it? What does it mean? It means simple. The simple definition of zoonosis you can define as the diseases which can be transmitted under natural circumstances between uh, human and animals. So those infections and diseases are defined as zoonosis. This is the standard definition of zoonosis. So as the definition says, there is the importance of animals in transmission of zoonotic diseases. Without involvement of animal, we cannot say it as a zoonosis. So the question comes, what is the role of wildlife or wild animals, and what are those factors that are leading to emergence of new diseases in human population? That is very important from wildlife point of view. If we discuss about the role of different wild animals and domestic animals in emergence of zoonotic diseases, the importance of wildlife is in the coming scenario is very very high. As we know that we are in developing phase of uh, developing type of country, and with the increase in human population, the demand for agricultural land, the demand for animal based protein is increasing day by day due to our growth in the population. So we are dependent on livestock, we are dependent on poultry for food, and also in many indirect way we are dependent on livestock and animals, like for demand of crop power, for demand of crop for making flour, things, fertilizers, and different items that we need in our daily life. So the importance of animals is increasing day by day in our life, human life system. And we all know that zoonosis, they are the multifactorial diseases. That means it is not a single factor uh, directed disease, because zoonosis, they have many aspects, many factors. When they come together, the diseases can be transmitted from animals to the human beings. And similarly, the same factor also involved in the transmission of diseases from wild animals, like host factor, like environmental factor, and involvement of multi-host agent. Because if an infectious agent is multi-host, that means they have the capability to infect different types of host at a time. Those those infectious agents, they are becoming more and more important as far as zoonosis is concerned, because we know that there are many diseases which are host specific, like if we see uh, uh, brucellosis itself, they are very host specific. Brucella abortus, they are specific to uh, this cattle. Then Brucella canis, they are host specific for canines and all. So how these diseases, they are transferring to the human population. So there are different factors that are playing a role in the transmission of diseases from one host to another host, or from the animal host to the human being. And that is the most important factor, you can say, that when there is a close interaction of animals and humans takes place. Animals, it can be a domestic animal or it can be a wild animal. So when you come in close contact with the wild animals, there is more chance of spillover of diseases from wild animals to the human beings. or when the domestic animals they come in close contact for a long period of time to the wild animals, then also the disease can be transmitted from wild animals to the domestic animals, and from domestic animals it can be transmitted to the human beings through direct route or through indirect way, like the involvement of vectors like arthropod vectors or any type of uh, inanimate object also. So the evolution of zoonotic diseases, it is occurring continuously into the ecosystem because of multi host factor, multi agent factors. So these factors are very, very important. We should know what are those factors. So, okay, the factors will cover up later on. You see, this in the current scenario, if you do the status of infectious disease emergence throughout the world, you see the data. Nearly 70% of uh, India's population they lives in rural area. They lives in close contact with the domestic and wild animals. That's why our population is on the most vulnerable population because we are developing country. The economic status of our country is comparatively lower. So we are at more risk because we live together with the animals. The hygienic standards of our society is not so high. So the chances of spilling over of disease, either from wild animals or from domestic animals, is high compared to other developed countries. Okay, so as we discussed that the world is growing and it depends upon the economy, which ultimately depends upon animal productivity. We are also demanding agricultural land day by day, so we are compressing the space for wild animals because we need more and more land for agricultural purposes, for developmental purposes, for industrialization of the country, for making houses for our population. So these factors they are making the ecology such that we that means the human and animals they are coming in close contact to each other, and that will lead to jumping species jumping of the agent. That means one agent which is specific for a particular animal, now they are spilling or they are jumping to other species like those viruses or especially the virus, those who are not causing disease in human beings or in domestic animals. Now they are started causing disease in human population or domestic animal population. Like we can see the emergence of SARS-CoV-2. This is the similar situation where the animal associated disease or wildlife associated disease they have jumped over to the human population, and it is very devastating. So you see the data, nearly 75% of the emerging infectious diseases they impact or threatens human health, and they are zoonotic in nature. Means 75% of emerging infectious diseases are of zoonotic in nature. So if we see the whole infectious diseases, more than 75% of infectious diseases, they are originating from animal sources. That means they are zoonotic in nature. And out of those zoonotic diseases, 75% of, again, the 75% of zoonotic diseases, or you can say the emerging infectious diseases, they are coming from wildlife. That is also very important data. That's why the role of wildlife has become very, very important in our life. If we talk about the zoonotic disease. The majority of diseases they have spilled over from wildlife reservoirs, either directly to the human beings or via domestic animals. As we discussed, that the spillover of uh, diseases, infections from wildlife reservoir, they can be either directly transmitted to the human beings or they can be transmitted first to the domestic animals, then from domestic animal it may come to the human beings via different routes. So the emergence of these pathogens, they are a significant health issue for human beings because uh, tackling new diseases emerging from wildlife or any animal sources is not a simple thing because our population is new for those diseases. We do not have any control strategy. We do not have any vaccine available for them. We do not have any drug available for the treatment of such new diseases. So our human population is on a great risk of wildlife diseases, like we have seen at present, SARS-CoV-2. The human population was exposed, and we do not have any protection against those viruses. So it was very difficult to control if it is spread among human population. Okay. These diseases, as we discussed earlier, these are associated with a range of factors, and most of them, that means most of the factors, they are linked to the sharp and exponential rise of global human activity. So the main culprit behind the origin of any type of new diseases is the human activity. We are involved or we are engaged in so much type of activity that those activity are giving rise to emergence of or exponential rise of new diseases in the human society, and that is very um, dangerous for human population. So one of the main major factor among all those factors that are responsible for emergence of new diseases, they are burgeoning human population. So our human population is increasing day by day, and that too at a high speed. So one way we are overusing the resources, natural resources, like we are overusing the land, we are over cutting the trees, we are over using water. So in all way we are overusing the natural resources provided or that has been blessed to us. As a result of which, what is going on? We are destroying the natural ecosystem of the earth, and that leads to emergence of new type of diseases, mainly associated of wild animals, wildlife origins. Because wildlife they act as a reservoir for many diseases, and those diseases are unknown to human body. So if at any point the agent, if it jumps from wild animals to the human population, they adapt to the human population and started causing disease, it will be very difficult to control such type of disease. Now, another factor is increased frequency and speed of local and international travel. That is also one of the important factors that will lead to emergence of new diseases because we have nowadays very fast mode of transmission. You can be here at present, and within few hours you can move in Europe to America to Africa to other parts of the world. So fast mode of transmission is linked to fast international travel and trade of human beings. That is also a factor which leads to uh, increased frequency of new diseases in human population. Okay. Then another factor is increase in human assisted movement of animals and animal product, because we need more and more animal based food to fulfill our protein requirement. So we need to increase the productivity from animals, and that will lead to intensive farming of animals, like intensive poultry farming, intensive dairy farming, intensive pig farming. So all those will lead to more and more involvement of human, and that will lead to more and more close relationship of human and animals and their products. That will lead to more uh, chances of spillover of agent from animals to human. If we involve in poaching, if we involve in hunting, there is more chances of spilling of wild animal based diseases to the human beings. So these human assisted animal movement or movement of animal based products, they are acting as factors for emergence of diseases in human population. Okay. Changing agriculture practices, that also favors the transfer of pathogens between wild and domestic animals. Because for doing agriculture practices, we are destroying the forest. So what will happen if you cut the forest, if you destroy the forest, the ecosystem is disturbed. The animals living in the forest, they start moving towards the domestic or towards the urban area, rural area where the human being lives. So ultimately, what will happen? The transfer of pathogen will also takes place along with wild animals. And once they jump the species barrier, they cross the species barrier from wildlife to human beings or domestic animals, the cycle goes on. Cycle starts and it will come to human population, will suffer ultimately. So changing agriculture practices, they are also favoring the transfer of pathogens between wildlife and domestic animals. Environmental changes. We know that we are talking a lot about the environmental changes, global warming and all. And we are seeing also in the present situation, the places where there was initially there was no rain, nowadays it is flooded. The places which were uh, supplied, or you can say blessed with more rain, they are now desert. So ultimately, these are resulting due to climate change, or you can say environmental change. The change in environment, it may leads to altered distribution of wildlife host. ओके, सो अगर यहाँ पे बरसात नहीं होती थी कभी, राजस्थान में इट वाज द डेजर्ट, और वहां पे बारिश होने लगी, से फॉर एग्जांपल. ओके, सो व्हाट विल हैपन? Desert, they have different type of ecosystem. The rainy places or rain ecosystem, they have different type of ecosystem. So what will happen due to change in the environment? The species living in the desert area, they will start moving from those areas to some other parts of the ecosystem, some other parts of the earth. So there is a change in the pattern of disease also, because of movement of the host, because of movement of the animals, movement of the vectors, there is a change in the pattern of disease also. Is it? So environmental changes that alter also the distribution of wild host and vectors, and thus they facilitate the transmission of new infectious diseases to the human population. If the desert is flooded, the animals from desert will move to some other places, and those places will be infected with new type of diseases. So there is emergence of new disease in a particular area. That's why the role of environmental change or climate change is very, very high impacting, very high impact on the emergence of new diseases. These factors they increase the interface and the rate of contact between human and domestic animals and wildlife population, thereby creating increased opportunity for a spillover to occur. Okay, so we have discussed all these things. If there is more interaction, more contact between human, wildlife, and domestic animal population, there is more chance, there is more opportunity for a spilling over of infectious agent to the new host that will lead to emergence of new diseases. That is a very important factor that leads to emergence of new diseases. And in this factor, the role of wildlife is highly important because we are discussing the role of wildlife. What is the role of wildlife in emergence of new diseases or zoonotic diseases? So, as we know that wildlife they are reservoir of so many type of infectious agents. So, if we come in close contact with those animals, certainly there is more chance of spilling over of new diseases from wild animal sources to the human beings. That's why the role of wildlife is very important in the current situation. If you see the pattern, if you talk about the different types of diseases or a different mode of transmission of pathogen from wildlife animals to the human beings, we can see two different types of patterns available for as far as the transmission of pathogens are concerned. What happened in one pattern, there can be a pattern where the transmission of pathogen to human being is rare. Okay, there can be disease which is rare in human beings, and there is rare chance of transmission of pathogen to the human being. But once it has occurred, there is a chance of human to human transmission also, and that transmission can maintain either for a certain period of time, for a few years, or it may be with us for a long time, or you can say permanently. Say, for example, SARS-CoV-2 that has happened to human population in the current situation, because this coronavirus, which is causing COVID-19, the disease, is very rare. This coronavirus is very rare as far as the transmission is concerned to the human being. This is a very rare disease that can be transmitted to the human beings. But it has occurred, it has been transmitted from wild animals because the theory, till date, the theory is that it has transmitted from bats to the human beings. The confirmation still it is awaited, but the theory is there that this disease has transmitted from wild animals in China. And this virus has started after coming to the human being, it has started transmitting between human to human. So once human to human transmission starts, it is very difficult to control such type of infection because it is very infectious in nature also. So human to human transmission once occurred, it will remain in the human population for a long period of time, or you can say for permanently also. So this current COVID situation is also like that. We do not know up to what extent the virus will be with us. It may take few years or it may remain with us for whole life. So that is the outcome of such type of disease. Say for example, the example of such type of disease are, the AIDS virus, human AIDS virus. It was not a human disease. It is a disease which has been transmitted from wild apes, wild monkeys. From wild monkeys, it has transmitted to human beings, and still it is with us after so much uh, time lapsed. We do not have any treatment for this disease. We do not have any vaccine available for this AIDS virus. So this human immunodeficiency virus, that is, you can say AIDS virus, they are transmitted from wild animals to the human beings, and it remained with us for the lifetime, or you can say permanently with us. Like for influenza virus, influenza A, we are talking about the bird flu and all. What is the origin? The origin is wild animals, wild birds. So from wild birds, it has been transmitted to the domestic birds, and it is maintained in domestic birds. And because we are doing intensive poultry farming, we that means the human population is nowadays at risk. Once it shifts to the human population and started transmitting among human population, it will be another pandemic, and that is very likely to be in the next. You will hear in the next 5 to 10 years, such pandemic will find in the human population. Like Ebola virus also, it is also a virus which has been transmitted from wild monkeys. SARS virus that we are talking, what we were talking about the coronavirus, because SARS virus, this is severe acute respiratory syndrome. So this is again caused by coronaviruses, and this present O2, it is again the same virus, SARS-CoV-2. The initial name was SARS-CoV-2. That is severe SARS coronavirus 2. So initially, this virus caused SARS disease. Then it has caused in Middle East. They have another. There was another outbreak of MERS. You have heard MERS, Middle East Respiratory Virus Syndrome, which caused disease in camels, and from camels it has been transmitted to human beings. And the change in the same virus has resulted into emergence of this SARS-CoV-2, that is COVID-19 infection that we are facing at present. So this is the same virus. There is slight change in the genetic material of this SARS virus resulted into the SARS-CoV-2, because the family which is the virus which was responsible for SARS disease, the same family virus, the same virus, the virus of the same family is causing the disease COVID-19. That's why it is called SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19 virus. Okay. So the role of wildlife is very critical as far as the emergence of new diseases is, or we can say zoonotic diseases are concerned. The second type of pattern could be direct or a vector mediated animal to human transmission. It can be possible where the wild animals, they are the principal reservoirs of the pathogens, and human to human transmission is rare. So what I mean to say, that there are many diseases that can be transmitted from wild animals to domestic animals. Either it is transmitted directly or through vectors. But from animals to human, it is very rare. It is very rare chance of transmission. And if it happens, it happens through some other, involving some other uh, host, the transmission is possible. So unless there is involvement of some host, it is not possible to transmit among human to human population. Say, for example, rabies. Rabies is not a human virus. It is not a domestic. The reservoir of rabies is not domestic animals. The reservoir is wild animals, the jackals, raccoons, they are the reservoir of rabies. So how it happened in human population? Because the animals which are which were going into the forest area or wild area, or the wild population like jackals, if they are traveling to the domestic area, they bites to the domestic animals. Like if we see the uh, bite of wild animals to the dogs leads to transmission of virus from wild animals to the domestic animals. And from that infected dog, if it bites to human being, it can be transmitted to the human. So this is the example of second type of transmission possible through direct or vector mediated animal to human transmission of disease. Say, for example, rabies. Say, for example, the Nipah virus. Nipah virus is again an example, excellent example of zoonotic diseases originated from wild animals. So for Nipah virus, say for example, bats they are acting as a reservoir. So the origin of Nipah virus took place in area where piggery farming was done. So what happened in those areas? The virus, the fox, or you can say flying fox, or the bats, they are biting to those pigs, and the virus was transmitted from bats to pigs, and from pigs it was transmitted to human beings. And now it is present in domestic population. So this is an example of second type of transmission which is possible from wild animals to the human population. It is not an infectious type. You cannot say that without involving any vector or any vehicle, it will be transmitted. No, it needs such type of disease. They need some agent, some vector to be transmitted among human population. Examples are Lyssa virus, that is rabies, Nipah virus, West Nile virus, hantavirus, Lyme borreliosis, plague, tularemia, leptospirosis, ehrlichiosis, a least number of diseases that comes under this category. You see, leptospirosis. This is also originated from wild animals, and the vectors they are the rat. So from rat, it is transmitting to the human beings. Hantavirus, it is again a wildlife origin which comes to human population again through rats. So these diseases from wild animals, they have the trends that rising that are rising sharply upwards. This line means that with increase in human to animal contact, the trend of emergence of zoonotic diseases from wildlife is increasing sharply because we are more and more involved in the destruction of forest area. That results into sharp increase in the trend of emergence of zoonotic diseases of wildlife animals. What we discussed earlier, the emergence of Nipah virus was associated, how it was originated, this says, it was associated with the increased size in the density of commercial pig farming with the encroachment into forested area. So in the forest area, the large pig farms were set up. So these movement of pigs for sale and slaughter in turn lead to rapid spread of infection to the Malaysian country where there is high density of urban pig population were infected, and that leads to transmission of the virus in human population. So initially the pigs were infected by Nipah virus because of bats. The bats used to bite the pigs, and from pigs it has been transmitted to human population. SARS virus is another example. SARS was originated in China, and in China there is a tradition of consumption of wild animal meats. So At the same places, wild animals are slaughtered, and at the same places, the other food animals are slaughtered, like chicken, like goat meat, or piggeries. They all are slaughtered and sold at the same place. So what will happen? A virus coming out of those animals, along with the fecal material, along with the blood, or along with the fluid of different animals, they are coming together, and the virus, they get the chance to adapt new hostes. If you are slaughtering hogs and cattle together, so the bloods and fecal material, they will mix together, and the humans, they are also handling